Are the Ravens on the road for the Chiefs the toughest test of their season?
Oh, it's not even close, by the way.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. We said it throughout the year with the Dolphins and the Cowboys, more so than we'd even said it about Kansas City this year. You don't blame a team for their schedule. It is what it is. It's not their fault that they may have had an easier schedule than they have had in the past or that other teams have had. It just happens from time to time. That being said, if you do go back and take a look at Kansas City this year, and this is not a knock, I want to be clear, I'm not taking a shot at Kansas City because they don't pick their schedule. The Baltimore Ravens represent something they have not seen all year. And that's a team of grade A talent on both sides of the ball who are actually healthy as well. We make a big deal about Kansas City going into Buffalo, and I understand it, and I give them their flowers for winning a game in Orchard Park. But they barely beat a team that was missing 8 starters. And while it's great, again, not their fault that Buffalo's banged up or that Josh Allen, makes a couple bad decisions late. You give them credit for maybe forcing him into bad decisions. But the reality is this, the Baltimore Ravens, and it's not close, are the best team on both sides of the ball that the Kansas City Chiefs have seen the entire year. And if you want to look at even more recent history, like I said, you just beat a Bills team missing 8 starters. That means something. You played a Dolphin team that was missing 7 starters and playing in weather that they're not used to. And it was obscene, obviously, the weather. So I'm not saying Kansas City can't go into Baltimore and win because number 15 is special. And if there is a guy that can lead a team to a win on the road against the best team in football, it's him. But don't get it twisted. This Ravens team is different.
Yeah, they're different because they match up well, and they also have range. What's not talked about, as much as we love Patrick McQueen and we love Raekwon Swift, listen, these guys aren't just downhill linebackers. They can cover, especially when you get backed up by Kyle Hamilton. So this is a defense overall. Whatever Patrick Mahomes thinks he can do, they can match pound for pound. So they've never seen that on that side of the ball for the Chiefs. Overall, man, we talked about it time, and Craig made a great point a couple weeks ago. This brand travels well, right?
Meaning the Ravens.
The Ravens, right? Even though they're going to be home, they're a physical team. They're going to try to punch you in the mouth, and they do it early and often. So it's going to be a big test for the Chiefs.
Yeah, one of the things that you're talking about, for me, I look at this matchup and I see personnel. And what typically the Kansas City Chiefs can do is they can have the better matchups with Travis Kelce, with Rashee Rice, obviously in the run game. And you look at this game for the first time in the postseason, and really all season long, you look at the Kansas City Chiefs, and the one difference maker, which has always been the difference maker, is that guy right there.
Right.
Yeah.
Everyone else is pretty much, even Travis Kelce, when you look at these lines, obviously he's going to impact the game, and he's going to be a focal point of the Ravens. So for me, I lean towards the Ravens.
You have to. They're the better team. I mean, and again, if you take any of the top quarterbacks not named Mahomes, this game isn't even in doubt. It's an easy Ravens win. He gets the benefit of the doubt because he's so damn good and wins every playoff game, more or less, that he's ever played in. So it's respect. It's the highest level of respect any guy has ever gotten in the history of the league. You also have to look at this. When you watch that game against the Buffalo Bills, if I'm the Baltimore Ravens, and I, by the way, kind of secretly have the best rushing offense in all football that nobody likes to talk about, and I saw Cook get off, and I saw, obviously, when he wanted to, Josh Allen with design run plays or pocket breaking down, took off for major gains, right?
Yep.
If I'm the Ravens offense, I mean, that's finger licking good because I'm going to have my way with your defense if your run defense is as bad as it was for the majority of the game. Maybe not that last drive, but the majority of the game. If I'm Baltimore, come get some.
Yeah, you got to believe that. When you look at the Baltimore Ravens and what they provide, like they can go anywhere. Patrick McQueen said it. We can play anywhere, anytime. It doesn't matter where we play. But they happen to be playing on their turf, on their terms, and they dictate how they play. This is why this team is going to be tough.
And this is what's scary about the Ravens. Mark Andrews may play this game.
Yeah.
Like, that's what they don't understand.
But likely's been so damn good.
You don't take him out of the line.
What else you got there, Jacob?
Moving on to second in football, we got some weird news.
What's that?
Take a look at this whole story from the Niners. Coach Shanahan sat down with Purdy and told him it was fine. And he said, you know what? We might bring in Tom Brady this offseason and make you the backup.
Yeah.
And then Purdy responded. Purdy said basically, I thought that I was good enough to not be the backup here because we would have gone to the Super Bowl with me, but that is fine. What do you make of the fact that Kyle Shanahan himself was trying to replace Brock Purdy just months ago?
Well, it's funny. When I first reported it a year ago, and you guys all poo-pooed me, you weren't here yet, but I was poo-pooed on my very own show. It's laughable that this is now a news story when I told you guys this was happening a year ago. The reality is this. Tom Brady was never coming out of retirement. He even said so himself, made fun of the fact that he wanted to, but my buddies gave me a retirement party. He's not coming out of retirement moving forward either. But if you're Brock Purdy, you were coming off a major elbow surgery, and there was no guarantee, obviously, that you're going to be ready to play at the start of the season. Now, good for you, you were. But if you're Brock Purdy and you've played in 9 games in your entire life, and they have a chance to get Tom Brady, who, by the way, the year before led the league in completions and yards, what are you going to say about it?
Nothing.
You're going to go like this. Nice to meet you, Mr. Brady. I'm a big fan. Could you sign your jersey for me after the game? It's also why I told you guys last year in the spring that San Francisco made a run at Aaron Rodgers because they weren't sure if Brock Purdy was going to be able to come back physically, and he had only played 9 games. So why not let him sit on the sideline behind an all-time great and then become the official starting quarterback? So it all lines up with what I told you guys a year ago, and I like Brock Purdy's answer. I thought I did a pretty good job.
Yeah, it's like undefeated.
I thought I was okay.
But he also acknowledged it was the GOAT, right?
But I tell you what else it shows you. It
door.
shows you on the Shanahan side a little level of desperation. It shows you the acknowledgement, hey, we're now in, 4th championship game in the last 5 years in the NFC, but no rings to show for it, that my window might be closing because I'm the coach that can get close but not win it. And that becomes a resume filler as well.
Well, yeah, the reality is there's only so long you can keep a team like this together.
Yeah. Right.
When you talk about the amount of pieces they have on offense and defense, like you only got a timetable of that which you got to strike gold. And they've had opportunity and they've fallen short. He is very mindful of that. And then you talk about the injury. I think a lot of us forget about the injury to Brock Purdy and coming into this season.
There's no guarantee.
It was a real issue.
Kyle Shanahan has a wandering eye when it comes to quarterbacks. You know what I mean? He's just constantly looking for an upgrade at all times. It's like Jimmy G. It's like, oh, I got draft Trey Lance. Oh, Brock Purdy, let's have them compete. Do you remember if he said if they won the NFC Championship last year, they would have brought in Phillip Rivers. And then there's Aaron Rodgers. And now it's Tom Brady. It just seems like he's constantly trying to upgrade.
Yeah, you can't blame him for being horny for Brady, right? The guy grew up a big Niners fan. He was he said himself in 1981, he was at the Dwight Clark game. Like, go. How can you not?
I am every day.
Right.
Yeah. Every day I'm horny for Tom Brady.
It's kind of like you with Christian Harper.
Yeah, like I'm hoping Tom Brady doesn't do the analyst job with Kevin Burkhardt and instead wants to sit next to me. No disrespect.
Oh, everybody got a point at Willie's spot.
I guess I'll pull up Brock and say, I guess I'll accept it.
I got time to place all of you. He's enough man for me. I don't need the 3 years.
Moving on to third and football. Are expectations for them to be sort of like a top 4 team in the NFC next year?
No, that's stupid. No, and no. They were a 9-8 team who had to barely beat the Chicago Bears just to get into the playoffs. And yes, pulled off the greatest upset of this year's playoffs by dominating the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas and playing their asses off. To be fair, against San Francisco, and outside of a bad decision late in the game, you're not closing out the San Francisco 49ers and having another rematch with the Detroit Lions in the NFC Championship game. But we got to slow our roll. Like, Jordan Love is still somewhat unproven. Right now, you've got to do it for me again. You have to have a better than 9-8 season. You are not the best team in your own division because the Detroit Lions are, and that's not up for debate. The Chicago Bears are only 2 games behind you this past year. They're going to get better. God knows what Minnesota does at quarterback, so they're kind of a big question mark for me in that division. But what LaFleur said, that's right. And I saw it with my own 2 eyes here a year ago when the New York Giants surprised everybody, got into the playoffs, won a road playoff game, and then faltered against Philly. Those parallels are the same. Because now the expectation is, oh, hold on a second, 9-8, made the postseason, won a road playoff game. Now next year, anything less than that is unacceptable. Meaning now you're going to learn a lot about Jordan Love going into the final year of his contract at $10.5 million to see, is he really a franchise quarterback? But I also think this, and it's a fair question, and it's a topic for sure. I find it a little disrespectful, if I may.
To who?
A little disrespectful. A little bit. To the Detroit Lions. Because why are we talking about the Green Bay Packers when the Detroit Lions are in the NFC Championship game? Tell me why.
Because Jordan Love is going to be Jared Goff's biggest competition in that division. And the expectation should be for the Green Bay Packers to win that division next year.
Well, what if I told you that Jared Goff's not long for Detroit? What if I told you that?
Not long?
Jared Goff has a single year left on his contract.
He ain't going nowhere.
A single year.
Where is he going?
And if you don't think there's going to be suitors for Jared Goff after he gets waxed in the NFC Championship game against the Niners, you are wrong.
When's the last time the Detroit Lions had a quarterback like that? He's not leaving the building.
Yeah, he
That's
fits what
food
they're
for
doing.
thought.
I would say the previous quarterback.
Yeah, for me, when I look at the Packers,
Stroud.
like what Matt LaFleur is talking about is not just internally, it's externally too. Like their fan base is going to expect for this team
Rightfully
to take the
so.
next step.
Yeah.
Like we are going to look at it, regardless of how they finished the season and what they ended up looking like against the Niners, we're going to expect for this team to be in contention to win that division based on what we've seen previously. And the reality of it is, you talk about the Giants, which is a very comparable suitor.
Yeah.
But look at the Jacksonville Jaguars, a team last year who had no expectations. They make the playoffs. They win a playoff game. They lose in the divisional round against the Kansas City Chiefs. And then this year, we had expectations of, this team could possibly be the best team in the conference, could make the AFC Championship game. And then Trevor Lawrence kind of takes a step back, and that team is nowhere close to what we expected them to be. That's what they have to fight against, because they will be not a team that's revered as no one's paying attention to them.
Right.
Everyone will know who you are now if you're
That's
Jordan
right.
Love.
And the schedule gets harder. Now expectations rise, and you learn exactly what that team is. But look, it's an interesting conversation considering the unexpected success and that playoff win. You have the Dallas Cowboys blow them out. We're not talking about the Green Bay Packers in the manner we are now, so they do deserve credit for that. Hey there, thank you so much for watching The Carton Show. You can subscribe right here to get all the latest bits and segments from the show. And by the way, while you're at it, we have a lot of great shows on FS1, so check them out too.